Alright, hello. Welcome to the unboxing of a Martin Logan Vanquish speaker. This is their top-of-the-line in-ceiling speaker. I actually really like this particular speaker. It has one of their folded motion tweeters. Has, I believe, a 6-inch, maybe 8-inch mid. 2 tweeters and one of their folded motion drivers. Since I'm an installer, I am using my Grille saw to open this box. Please don't judge me. Do this review video. Here we go. So, for relation, by the way, if you do choose to buy one of these speakers, that's the drywall saw. There's about a 6-inch blade on it. This box is huge. So you're going to open up this speaker. If you're installing this yourself, you will need to keep a few things in mind. So when you first open the box, you're going to see the template. This is what you're going to be. Actually, here's the instructions. Pause the video if you want to read them. Has, I think it says right here, it's a 13 and I believe about an 1/8 of an inch diameter for cut-in. Comes with a magnetic grill. These are very flat. I suggest don't touching those until you're ready to. Comes with a nice user manual, which is mainly pointless. And the speaker itself. The speaker is actually extremely heavy for an in-wall speaker. Comes with a handle. So you can actually handle the speaker. It was very well packaged in a very robust foam enclosure for, I guess I could call it packaging, but it's basically an enclosure. It's really neat. So, nothing crazy to unboxing this part of it. Kind of hard holding the camera, but let's rip it apart. Just plastic. There we go. Okay, how to put the camera down and take off the plastic. So this has wing nuts here that hold this handle. So the way this works is that when you go to mount it, you can do it like that, because you're going to need one hand to drill it in with the drill. And use a drill. Don't use a screwdriver and hate yourself. If you use a screwdriver, you will hate yourself. So after you cut the hole in the ceiling, you will shove this in the ceiling. And I'll take these wing nuts off. So you can actually slide them off. They make it easy to do that. So I'm going to slide it off just to show you before I put it back on. So the speaker itself, like I said, I believe that's a 6-inch woofer, has 2 3-inch mids and a folded motion tweeter. This folded motion tweeter is a less expensive form of a ribbon tweeter, for lack of a better term. It's not a typical ribbon tweeter, but does the job. These are very good sounding in-wall speakers. Very good sounding. I think they retail for $1,300. I typically don't sell them for that, but that's what they retail for. Now each of these speakers comes with 2 switches. One has you indicate whether it's a left front or right surround, or right front or left surround. What this does, I believe, is, I think it attenuates one of these mids. I'm not 100% sure. And center channel or front or surround. So I'll read the manual later and tell you exactly what those are for. I don't recall off the top of my head. I haven't put one of these in probably a year. I'm doing 4 today. So if we go to the back of this beast, on the back you're going to have your serial number, some nice push terminals, and if you notice, the magnet of the woofer barely sticks out beyond the casing. I don't know why they didn't make the casing a little bit bigger, but they didn't. So we have some nice vents here for the crossovers in case you're pushing a lot of power through it. As you can see, the crossover components are extremely beefy. They're very big. That's a 10-watt resistor. You have all kinds of other electronics. Your speaker terminals or your speaker wires are well soldered over here. The mounts for these speakers are actually unlike any other speaker that I've seen, that I can at least recall off the top of my head. Most have a single wing nut. This actually has a large mount, and it takes two different screws to make this come down. I always use a drill to put my in-ceiling speakers in. If you don't, I'm sorry. Call me unprofessional for using a drill to put in-ceiling speakers. I've been doing this 16 years. I think I've cracked one wing nut, and that was within my first year of doing it. Since then, haven't cracked one. Learn how to use your drill. So the threads on these bolts are very fine. It's going to take a lot of screwing with your screwdriver to get them to go in. It's one of the reasons why I use a drill. So when you do that, you're gonna kind of want to walk it down. You're gonna want to do left, right, left, right. I can usually do it in about 3 passes, sometimes 2, depending how aggressive I get. This does have this really cool spring. I mean, it's just like a tension cord is what it is. It has a tension cord that helps pull this up. I mean, they really did think of installation when they put this speaker together, because it is a very large speaker, and I'm not a large guy. This thing is heavy. For me to hold this up, I have to take a break between each speaker. It does have this nice spring. I believe this just goes around the 3 tabs. I believe if I pull on one, you can kind of see the other one move. But see, if I remove it, the thing just falls down. It does a good job of holding it up out of your way, just like that. And if you notice, when you release this, you see how it drops down? But then when you put it on, watch, it's actually gonna turn into the speaker to help you with actually getting it into the ceiling. And then see, watch, I'll let this go, it'll fall out and then drop. See, it goes out and drops, doesn't just drop. So it actually leans back, which really helps you get it in the ceiling. One thing I've noticed when installing these speakers in the past is that when you cut your hole in the ceiling, you need to be aware of where these terminals are. Because the speaker is so large, you have to hold it and put the wires in and then put the speaker up. Occasionally, if you cut your wire too short coming out of the ceiling, or if you already have a short wire coming out of the ceiling, it's going to be really, really hard to get the speaker and the wires mounted in the terminals. So that's it for the unboxing of this speaker, and a few installation tips there. Nothing critical though. I will say, just kind of focusing and realizing what these mounting things do is going to get you a little bit ahead of the game. As far as the grilles go, for those of you that haven't seen it, the newer speakers these included actually have magnetic mounting. So you no longer push the speaker in this little abstract groove that the second you warp your grill isn't going to work. This literally just snaps on. Gives it a nice flush look. I actually have more of these installed in the ceiling. I can show you what it looks like. So this is what they look like installed into a soffit in the living room. So next video, I think the next section is going to be me cutting holes in the ceiling. One quick note about these wing nuts. If you go to put the speakers back on, I forgot this, just remembered it after looking at it. They actually have grooves in the bottom of the speaker to line up for these wing nuts. So if you go to put these back in, please make sure that you're lining them up correctly. Otherwise, again, you don't like yourself. Alright, so now I'm about to install one of these Vanquish speakers. If you install speakers, or you just like tools, buy yourself a 6-inch Phillips bit. The little 2-inch magnetic bits where you insert a small Phillips tip is not going to cut it with speakers. You have a depth on these of at least an inch. So that's about an inch. You want to, this gives you flexibility. This gives you a lot of options when you're installing your speaker. So I'm going to see if I can point this up at the ceiling. While I put this in. So that's not going to happen. I think I'll put you on top of the ladder. So I'm going to install the speaker. My hole's cut. Thank you, Martin Logan, for this glorious handle. There's a ceiling there. As you can tell, I have an AC duct right here. It'll be a little bit in the way, but not much. If you're installing a speaker, don't worry about anything above it. Just shove it in there. Unless it's a gas line or a copper line that you can't move, just shove it in there. Electrical lines, people talk about electrical lines interfering. That's generally not the case. That has not been an experience of mine, actually. I've put in plenty of electrical lines up there. I'm getting there. I'm not hitting that. There we go. Okay. What you'll notice when putting these speakers in, number one, they're heavy, but the handle really helps. I've done this without a handle. It's not a lot of fun. So as you can see, this one over here, I did wrench it down really tight. That was not my intention, but it does take a long time for those screws to take. And my muscles were kind of getting a little tired. Yes, I'm a skinny white guy. No, I'm not very strong. Leave your comment below. I'm gonna go in with the third one here. Keep in mind, these wings are very large. They're about this big. So it has a lot of support right now. I'm not worried about not holding it. It's a little difficult sometimes to actually get your bit on the screw. Keep in mind too, the more you screw in one side, the more you have to screw in the other side. It's going to be unbalanced. This side will be tight, this side will be loose. Sometimes the screw will pop down if you go too far. Sometimes you have to hunt it kind of in the middle of the air. There we go. There we go. And there we go. Like I said, so actually I have to loosen it up a little bit. I forget. These can kind of leave a mark on the ceiling. Darn it. I made that mistake before. It's been about a year since I put these in. I kind of forgot that. Yeah, I'm not super happy about that. Mistake on my part. So this is going to be a left speaker. It is not a center channel, it is a front. There you go. Take this off. Don't forget to take this off. Sucks getting your big ladder back out. So this is aimed at my kitchen. And it took me about 6 minutes to put that in. There's my other speaker hole right across the way there. Alright, so here's the grill. It's pretty easy to install. We'll take it out of the bag. And this is a pro tip. Before you touch it, wash your damn hands. Because what's going to happen is that as you put this up there, now it's going to be magnetic, so it's a little bit easier to do than a traditional one where you actually push it in that little groove. But if you don't wash your hands, you'll actually leave fingerprints on the grill. And some people may not care about that, but if you're professional or you care about that, simple tip, wash your hands.